Okay guys, this is my third time trying to record this video, but it's going to be the best one that I've recorded. I've tried to record it 3 times in this video. Okay, so basically, what I've been saying is, hello, I'm gonna post this video tonight on YouTube. It is December 7th. Christmas is on the way, y'all. Merry. But basically, okay, I'm gonna do, bear with me. I don't even want to make any disclaimers. I do talk a lot. I don't want to make too many disclaimers trying to explain myself to y'all. And it's not that I don't respect y'all, I don't care about y'all, but just in case there's any people who want to make fun of me. I don't know. I'm posting this on the internet, and the internet is crazy. I don't keep making no disclaimers. I'm not gonna explain myself too much, but bear with me. I do have ADHD. I get distracted and things leave my mind just like that, even when I'm talking about it in the moment. So yeah, and I've been trying to record this 3 times. If I do this with my eyes, I have Tourette's. It's a tick. I can't help it. If I do, that's a tick. Don't ask questions. Don't even mention it. Act like it didn't happen or whatever. So the point of this video is basically to one, for me to in a way vent, but do it in a God-ordained way. But I'm not just venting just to vent and to even make this necessarily about me, even though it mostly is, but also to help others and hopefully change the mind of somebody, help somebody gain new perspective, anything. Okay, back in 2023 I got out of a relationship that was very toxic and abusive, and I will excuse my face, say something about my face though, y'all. I tried to moisturize my face because it was dry, because it's getting dry during the winter, and I put on coconut oil and some body cream, and now my face is, I look like a grease bunny. But basically, I ended a relationship that was very toxic. It was emotionally and verbally abusive, and it took me a while to end the relationship because I was genuinely in love, and I did have a soul tie with the person. I was deeply in love, and it took me a while, but I did it for the best of me. And with ending that relationship, I found God, and life has been better since. And when I say life has been better, things happen. I've gone through things, I've faced things, I've gone through some depression, I've gone through hard times, but what I'm saying is emotionally and somewhat to fall back on, I had pride, and that's what I'm saying. Like I this time around, going through the things I've gone through, that I've dealt with my whole life, that just even things that life throw at me, you know, the bad things, the good things, I've had God to go to, and that's basically what I'm trying to say. And I grew up in the church, but I just never really had like a genuine relationship with God that was like I was going out of my way to seek Him, like my own way, for real. Like I would say prayers and, you know, here and there, but I would never genuinely have a relationship with Him. But within the past 3 to 2 years, I have been seeking Him, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like our relationship is perfect, and like, well, it's perfect enough for the time being, and it's going to grow progressively. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like I can just hear His voice, and He's done these big things when it comes to like material things, like, oh, He's provided a mansion and a car and money. No, but He has done some great things for me emotionally, and that's generally all I've ever asked for. I just want mental stability. I want to be able to love and accept myself. I want to be able to grow as a person, and that's what He's helped me with, especially because I am on the spectrum. I am neurodivergent. I have ADHD and slight bit of autism. Obviously, if you have ADHD, you low key. Yeah. And with that, I am hypersensitive. I'm extremely emotional. I feel things deeply. I really be feeling like I'm about to pass away. Like when I'm hurt, it feels like somebody took a brick. It felt like I got shot in my heart, and like somebody took a brick and threw it at the wound right afterwards. That's how it feels when I get my feelings hurt. I be crashing out. But with being on the spectrum, I don't want anybody to think that I'm just mentally insane or anything, or like I'm just, I handle my emotions pretty well. I'm human, so I do crash out. I do handle issues irresponsibly sometimes. And that brings me to my next point, is that I just ended another relationship that I was in. I was in another relationship. Don't judge. I'm not here for judgment. I mean, if you got something to say, say it, but I don't care, so don't. I was in a relationship, but this one was with a guy who was genuinely nice. It was no abuse going on. He had a relationship with God. He brought God into the relationship. Like, we both brought God into a relationship, but like, I didn't have to mention God to him. He brought him up to me, and God was at the beginning and for the most part in our relationship. We was doing Bible study, we was praying, we was talking, all of that. And we're human, so we don't handle things perfectly. But the relationship did end. I broke up with him because I was mentally and emotionally drained, and I could not handle it anymore, and I reached my breaking point because there was a lack of consideration and a lack of genuine love, like real love. And when I say love, I don't mean just, oh, I love you, or I'm gonna get this for you, or I mean like love as in like consideration, selflessness, understanding, strength to keep fighting even when things get hard. And it was a lot, so I ended that relationship. Back to me and God's relationship. Outside of all of that, God has been carrying me through it, and I have been handling it pretty well. These past couple of hours have been very hard for me. I'm going to be very transparent. I don't mind my business, and I am a detective. And I see things that I search for that I shouldn't search for, but I am nosy, and I'm not going to say I can't help it, but I can't. And I don't want to say that, but I also have to be real with myself and politically correct and say, yes, I can't help it, but I'm going to be able to control it. But yes, so I have been self-sabotaging basically, and not with the intentions of hurting myself. I don't even know, I can't explain really why I do it too much. I don't know, but it's something I've done, and I do it. I don't mind my business. I'm nosy. I gotta see things. I got to. And I think I've just been looking for clarification as to if he's the one and God's bringing us back together, or if he's really not the one. And I'm leaning towards he's more so he's not the one, but he's not a horrible guy. And I'm trying to heal from all of this, because even though God has been carrying me through it all, I feel like I've low-key been avoiding the pain. And I'm not saying like avoiding pain, like I don't feel anything, like it doesn't hurt bad, but like I don't know, I feel like I've been avoiding something and I can't figure out what it is. And me and God, we're working through that. But basically, when I started my relationship with God, my walk with God, I had no idea what I was doing too much. I was watching sermons, I was trying to go to church. What else? I was trying to just be a follower of Christ, but obviously, for most people, when you first come to God, you might accidentally fall into the false version of Christianity. You might fall into the colonized, manipulated version of Christianity, the one that kind of basically low-key praises humans and idolizes being perfect instead of genuinely knowing what it is to follow Christ. But in the past 2-3 years, I have grown, especially these past couple of weeks with the ending of my relationship. And I've been trying to figure out how to hear God's voice. I've been reading my Bible. I've been watching sermons. I've been praying. I've been journaling. I can't find my journal. I've been journaling. It's over there. I don't know. I've been journaling. I've been trying my best to sit in silence. Again, guys, I have ADHD. I literally struggle with sitting still and sitting down. And I maladaptive daydream. My mind is so full, and unfortunately, I have to admit, I do live in my head a lot more than I am in reality. So yeah, I've been trying to hear God's voice. Not only just for comfort, but basically, yeah, actually, it all leads back for comfort. Leads back, yeah, to comfort. I want to be able to hear His voice so that He can tell me what to do, and I do it. Because even though I'm human and I have things that I want to do, I also know that not everything that I want to do is from God and will please Him. And I want to please Him, especially because I know that doing things my way might make me happy, but I always end up hurt, especially if it's not something that God put on my heart, and you find out the hard way. What was I saying, y'all? I've been right here His voice, and I had to come to a realization after doing a whole bunch of research, after me talking to Him and all of this journaling, praying, researching, doing my homework. I have come to the conclusion, I have been taught, I've learned that everybody's relationship with God is different. And even though there are things that we have in common and things that we are all called to do that is no different from the other person, and when I say that, I mean things such as the way that we live. And when I say the way that we live, I don't mean He might have told you to go be a nurse and He told the other person to go be an engineer. I mean, He tells us all not to sin. And I don't even want to make this about sinning, but the other things on my name is technically sin. But I don't want this to feel like I'm condemning anybody. I'm not here to bash anybody, because I literally just smoked earlier and I'm not proud about it, but it's something that I'm coming out of. I have been doing marijuana, all the cannabis, since I was in 12th grade. It's a hard cycle to break, but I'm getting out of it, and yeah. So I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm not. But basically, we have things in common that we are all called to do, such as forgive people even when they hurt us, be slow to anger, put God first, don't idolize things, don't lust after people, don't have sex before marriage, yada yada, all that. But everybody's relationship and steps and journeys and testimonies and purposes is different. Now, you might have somewhat of the same purpose as somebody: teaching, spreading the gospel, preaching, being a dancer, being a nurse again, being an engineer again, being some type of scientist. Whatever it is that He called you to do for whatever reason, which is basically to bring glory to Him and to bring other people to Him and spread the light and love and happiness and joy that He has to other people, which also will bring joy and peace to you, while also when other people are followers of Christ and are obedient to Him, it can also bring peace and joy to you. So I understand that, and I've been understanding that, but I had to understand what hearing Him really meant. Some people, they hear Him audibly. Some people, they hear Him consciously in their head. I don't know how to say it, in their mind. And that's what I think He does for me. But I also learned, and not even just through myself, through watching videos, that He can just put things on your heart. It says, hold on guys, bear with me. I'm actually pausing. I'm back. Okay. In Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, it says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, oh my gosh, I can't pronounce this word. I consecrated you. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. Basically, and everywhere else, there's so many different parts of the Bible. No, I was talking and okay. Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5 says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I consecrated you. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. In Psalm 139 verse 13 through 16 says, you made all the delicate, intricate details of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was written in your book before I even lived one day. And many other verses, parts of the Bible, will basically just imply about how God created us and He knew us before He made us. And that gives you confidence right there about God's greatness and to trust Him. And that's leading me to say basically, like, God created you. So whatever is in your heart, whatever is in your mind, whatever it is that you have passions for that is of God, that it will please God, that isn't sinful, obviously, like He's not telling you to go be a drug dealer and sell drugs or go give your body up. And again, I'm not judging people who do, but we all know, like, our body is a temple and we are supposed to wait till marriage. And I understand absolutely why to wait till marriage. I definitely want to preserve my body. I don't want to give it to anybody. People are weird nowadays, and after the soul tie I had with one of my exes, you can get them without having to have sex, but that's how I got mine, and it's not for a week. I'm good. I don't want to get like that's a deep connection that you're building with somebody. Sex isn't just something like holding hands, and even that could be deep. And I'm not saying to hold hands with people, but like that's affection and someone going inside of you, someone like that's deep, especially when that can create another life. So oh my gosh, I'm getting off track, y'all, but like things such as, like I said, teaching, things like spreading the word. You can even be an influencer, posting your life online and just being authentic. Anything where it's you being authentic, anything where it's you doing things that could help others and also help grow you as a person, and it gives you knowledge and it gives you the ability in some way to help somebody. Even things such as being a nail tech. And honestly, God can work with anything. So even if you are a drug dealer, even if you are a sex worker, even if you are scamming, even if you are, and I'm not saying He's telling you to do these things, but these are things that you're already might be doing before you genuinely allow Him into your life, that He might use to bless you. I'm not saying continue to do the wrong thing, but I'm saying like He can use things. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of strippers out here who are literally giving, like that one issue that we were having a few weeks ago with the churches not giving people, things like helping out the community and helping out the woman who needed formula, even though it was fake. It was a social experiment. And there's strippers out here who are giving out money. There are there's people in gangs, there's people who are drug dealers helping people out, helping out the community. So even that, like, God can bless you from that, because there's people who are in powers and who are doing things that might not be as morally wrong as giving up your body or selling drugs, who are not even doing the right thing, and God can't use them. I mean, He can, but they're not doing it the right way. But then you're doing what you're doing and you're helping people out. You have the heart. So don't let what you're doing right now hold you back and make you feel like you're not good enough for God. You are actually exactly what He's looking for. But whatever it is that He puts on your heart that is of Him, that aligns with His word and what He said and what pleases Him, like things like you might like art. Drawing might help you, and your art might help somebody else, because I've seen plenty of pieces of art that made me feel happy, that feels like it healed a piece of me. And For me, I've been learning and I've been praying, and I feel like what I'm about to say and what I've been experiencing these past few weeks, and I know for a fact that breakup was something I prayed for. It may be not breaking up, I don't know. I prayed for God to fix my relationship, and I don't know what He's doing with that. I don't know what He's doing with my love life. I don't know. And that's something that stresses me out, and I've been trying to take my focus off of it because I'm trying to leave it in God's hand, but I want to leave everything in His hand, but specifically that, because that is one thing that drives me insane. So I've been leaving that in His hands, but I've been praying about, like, God, whatever it is that you want from me, and I'm not even talking about romantically, put it on my heart. Speak to me. Be there for me. Talk to me. Communicate, Put it on my heart, whatever it is that you want of me, that you want me to do. And basically, I've always loved teaching. I've always wanted to be a teacher. When I was younger, I wanted to be famous, but I always, in the back of my mind, honestly, I've wanted to be a teacher, but I was like, no, I don't want to be a teacher. What am I going to do? Because I'm like, I'm not good with math. I'm not good with science. I like social studies, but I'm like, that's not for me. I don't have the mental capacity to do that. So, yeah. And then I've always had a passion for mental health too. Another passion I've always had is being a mother, and I know for a fact that He's gonna let me be a mother. That's something. My name actually means mother love, and I've always had a passion for being a mom. And then when my mama told me when I was a kid what my name meant, that hyped me up. I said, it means I have to be a mother. I have to. And it's not like I didn't want to be a mother, and then she said that, and then I was like, oh man, like Ever After High, how Raven, they trying to force her to feel like she has to do something that she doesn't want to do just because of her family background. Yeah. So I've always wanted to do mental health. I've always wanted to teach. I've always wanted to be a mother. I've always wanted to be a wife. I've always wanted to just be in community with people. Basically, I wanted to be in community. I want to help people. I want to be around people. And I'm actually very introverted, so don't get the wrong idea. I'm not an extrovert. I'm very, very shy, and I'm just now getting out of my shell after graduating high school 3 years ago. But I do a pretty good job of it, and I also feel like that is God working through me, because I never thought that I wouldn't be shy. It's not something that I was like, I'm going to work on this. When I was younger, I was petrified growing up, because I said, how am I going to go out into the adult world when I can't even raise my voice to speak to somebody when they speak to me? When I was younger, I was hiding behind people when people would talk. I was hiding behind my mom when people would talk to me. And being a little black girl and being shy in general, especially a little black girl, people thought I was rude. I've had so many people make assumptions about me, y'all. And I'm genuinely just a shy, soft-spoken person. When I speak to people and I'm shy and I'm in a moment of shyness, my voice is very low. I don't know if I can imitate it, but like, I'm like, hi. Like, I can't do it. Like, my not seems forced, but like, if you'll ever meet me, if you'll ever see me in a moment where I'm being shy, I might be socially awkward, my voice is very, very low. And, and it's very hard to speak to people sometimes. But as I've gotten older, since I've graduated and I've been getting older, I have my frontal lobe is definitely developing, and I'm not even just talking about maturely. I'm definitely this mature. I've generally been talking to people, and it's not like a scared talking. I've been going out my way to have conversations with people. I can say excuse me. 5 years ago, I remember I was at Walmart and I had to go to the bathroom, but there was a big line, and I had a shortcut to go, but I had to say excuse me to somebody, and I genuinely could not bring myself to. I couldn't bring myself to. I literally felt like Ariel when Ursula took her voice. I could not say anything. I was stuck, and I took the scenic route to the bathroom because I was too scared to speak. So yes, I'm a very shy person, but I've always had a passion for community, and maybe it's because I've never felt like I fit in, and because I had the heart to not turn into what the people who treated me bad wanted me to be, or I didn't turn out to be negative with the way that I've been treated when it comes to people being mean to me when it pertains to abuse and bullying and all of this and mistreatment. I've never wanted to be like them. I've never wanted to be like them. When I got bullied and I've been mistreated, I didn't want to be like those people. My mom was very toxic growing up, and I always told her, I don't want to be like you. it's people I don't want to be like the people who are negative, even the people who seem glamorous and better than me in a way to society. In society's eyes might be better than me, maybe look wise, maybe financial status wise, social status wise, they might be better than me when it comes to worldly things in society. But I still never wanted to fit into those norms because it's not natural for me. It's not something that I like. And when you try to fit in with other people, you're not going to be happy. Now, some people might be happy because they never had a sense of identity. Somehow, I don't know how that works, but I'm not judging. But I have had a sense of identity, and I liked myself. I liked myself. And I was bullied, and it caused me to have a low self-esteem, but it never caused me to want to be anybody else. Now, I did want to be white when I was younger. I'm not going to sit here and act like I was completely perfect. But I didn't think black people were ugly. That's the thing. I also didn't hate black people. I loved black people. I grew up obviously around black people. My grandma went to school and studied African American / black history. She was in a sorority. She went to a HBCU. She was in the military. She made me watch 12 Years a Slave. Slavery is 12 Years a Slave. At a young age, I watched The Color Purple at a young age. I watched a lot of slave movies at a young age. A lot of black history, black liberal, oh my gosh, civil rights shit. I've watched it all. I've learned it all. My grandma didn't even let me have white baby dolls growing up, so I don't want you to think that I'm a coon and I've ever been a coon in any type of way. I did want to be white, but if I saw a white person be a racist to black people, I was on that. And I peeped that white people was racist. And I still, the only reason I wanted to be white for the most part is because I was like, that's the only way I'm going to be accepted. Very much. And I did admire white people. I did. I think white people, certain white people, when white people are beautiful, they're beautiful. I'm not talking about the racist ones. I've seen some very beautiful white people that I admire, but now I only want to be black. I love being black. I love it. I want to be black in every lifetime. So, get that out the way, y'all. I promise y'all I'm not a coon. I'm for the people, and I mean that. But, yeah. I have been an introvert my whole life, but I've always yearned for community because I never had the type of community that I yearned for. One where I'm accepted, one where I'm seen as a human, one where I'm valued, one where I'm completely loved, one where I'm not judged, one where people accept me exactly for who I am, not for who they want me to be. And I also want to help other people love themselves because I have a preference of the way that I like to look, a way I like to dress, things that I like to do. But I also understand that we're all different, and I think that's beautiful, and I want other people to feel and know that regardless of how I look and how you look and what you like and what I like and vice versa, all around, I love you, and I want other people to feel that. So I've always had a want for community. I want to be around people and help people. So that's something that God put on my heart that I never realized was Him, but I'm starting to realize a lot of the things about myself that I didn't think were that big of a deal, that people made me feel bad about, that I felt inadequate about, are things that God made me to be. But then I also have to remember that it's true because look at Jesus. Look how they treated Him. Y'all be treating Jesus horribly right now. Y'all ran that man off the internet because he said he didn't because he wanted people to read books. So y'all was definitely running Jesus off the internet and away from everybody. So that's kind of my confirmation of it all. So I don't want to be famous anymore. And if I am ever known, it'll probably be for things like this, like being authentic and being myself. I don't want to be big and up there winning awards. I don't want to be walking the red carpet or anything. I just want to help people and be known as a child of God who helps people and is myself and makes people feel comfortable, because a lot of people, whether they're in a relationship with God or they're Christian, whatever, some people take that and they use it just to only condemn people for sin and to make people feel bad. And then some people do it to give everybody this glamorous outlook on life with God. And He'll have you in a mansion, He'll have you in riding in the fanciest brand new cars and then flying out the country all the time. And even though that stuff can be good, sometimes it's idolized, and sometimes it might not even be God, because you can kind of see that they just idolize it. And even some people who did have all that stuff said that, and God took it from them, or God little did. He took away and was like, hey, come take, so I don't want to be like rich. I do want to be wealthy. I want to live and I want to be financially stable. I want to be able to afford the things that I want. But all I really want is a house. I'm not going to be buying a whole bunch of $40,000, $34,000 jewelry. These are hair store earrings. These rings were very cheap. I'm gonna spray my jewelry with clear acrylic spray, and then occasionally, if I ever want, the only real jewelry I ever have is maybe like a signature necklace and a ring and some earrings, but even then it won't be too expensive. And I'm gonna spray my jewelry with some acrylic spray to keep it from tarnishing, because I definitely love jewelry and I don't want it to look cheap, or not. And if it do look cheap, oh well. If it's cute, it's cute. But I really just don't want my jewelry to tarnish. So yeah. Things like that, like people make it seem like God is like this person who only gives you materialistic things that are, idolized and worshipped by society and the world. And a lot of times, God can really help you in more ways than that. He can help you mentally, and I'm not even speaking spiritually, mentally. Things that you feel like you couldn't handle. Like I dealt with horrible mental health my whole life, but because I have God in my life now, and I genuinely have him, I seek him, because when I was younger and I didn't have him, he would still be there for me now that I'm looking back, but like I wouldn't seek him, so I would never genuinely get to where he wanted me to be. Again, I get sad, I go listen to sad music, and I like sad music because a lot of times I listen to it just because it's beautiful. But I had to take a break from that because it would make me sad. And again, I don't mind my business. I'm a detective. So I'd be trying to delete social media. So I stopped doing stuff, And basically, yeah, God will put it on your heart. Whatever it is that you like, that you already have a passion for, that will not disappoint God, that that is not sinful, that wouldn't steer you away from the goodness of God. That's God. And again, talk to him about it. Don't just take my word. I'm not just saying listen to me and automatically just go do whatever. But you know. But for me, I don't want to tell all my business. I'm really big on my, not telling everybody everything. And it says too much talk can lead to sin. I don't want to tell all my business because I'm struggling to hear God's voice and I don't say struggling, but I still have confusions and whatnot. But for me, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was teaching. I'm like, how am I going to be a teacher? I don't know how to do math. How am I going to be a teacher? I'm not good with science and all of this. And I'm shy. I have to speak in front of a class. And I'm lazy. I so many things. And in 12th grade, I took sociology. And I found a love for social science. And then I got deeper into different parts of social science, like psychology, sociology, anthropology. I'm not really into all the other social sciences. I do think they're pretty cool, but the ones that I focus on specifically are things of like individual or societal studies, like again sociology and psychology. Those are the two that I love. Sociology is my fave. I love studying humans as a whole because humans get on my nerves and I be needing to know why. I also want to know, I just want to understand myself, and so I study psychology and I get into psychology, and then I also want to understand society and its impact on me at that and individuals, and so I study sociology. But I've always wanted to be into science. I love science. But when I say science, I mean things like physical science and things like typically, I'm going to just give you the honest, direct science that I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about neuroscience. Now, obviously, I was never really aware of neuroscience too much. But I've always liked science. We used to go to the science museum and go on science field trips, and I thought science was so cool. But I felt like I didn't have the mental capacity because, again, I do have a learning disability. So science was something that was a little bit harder for me to understand, especially when it starts adding math and stuff. So I was like, I can't be a science teacher. But I always admired science, and especially people who do science. there's a girl I went to school with. She is a chemistry major, and I think that's so cool. You know, most people, you talk to them, they might work in like finance or business or like things like fashion, and though I'm not knocking anybody's hustle, I admire everybody and what they like to do, but there's things that I genuinely love. And I love to see a scientist. I like to see people studying things like human nature and all of that. Like, again, social sciences even, but I feel like social science wasn't enough for me. I was like, I want to be even smarter. I want to understand the in-depth details of it all. But I didn't know which. I was like, I'm not good with this stuff. I want to learn chemistry, but I don't think I have it. And I was like, what am I going to do? You know? But I've been watching videos lately, and a lot of them have been mentioning neuroscience. So I was like, you know, and it sounds interesting. It's always like, well, the brain, and since I like psychology and sociology, and all of this stuff stems back to people's brain function, basically, on our mind and mental being, which is our mind and our body. And all of this comes from our brain. I was like, neuroscience will be the perfect science for me to study, and I have enjoyed it. I've learned so much. So I've gotten into neuroscience, and I was like, God, is this you? But there's so much that has been helping me understand, and it has been giving me really good emotional regulation. There's a girl named Kelsey. I just started reading that in the newspaper at the beginning of the year. This girl named Kelsey Russell on TikTok. At the beginning of the year, I also wanted to get into journalism, which is another thing that I want to do. But I'm like, I want to do journalism, but I don't want to do the type of journalism when I'm talking about a whole bunch of celebrities all the time. I want to be, because I like that. But I was like, you know, I'm not really into celebrities. Like, I'm young, so I be in a business, but like, it's not something I really want to focus on for real. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do. What else am I going to talk about? That's all people want to hear, and that's, you know, and it is cool. It is very cool. But that's also just not like the setting that I want to be in. And maybe not like all the time specifically. Oh my gosh, y'all. I think I'm getting oil in my eye. But yeah. So then I was like, you can do journalism in just about anything. So I want to do journalism and like mental health, and basically journalism and like studying society and coming back and reporting to y'all. And interviewing random people. Not random, but like, it doesn't have to be famous people. It can be somebody with a story. Give other people a platform, basically. And maybe not like a platform to be famous, but to show that, and even sometimes maybe one day I might be able to interview and do do research on, not research, but like talk with and understand and journal about a celebrity and their mental health and their experience as a celebrity and how it impacts them. Because again, someone was like, we're not meant for like, hopefully I'm saying this right, like the masses. We're not meant for mass fame and to be known by everybody. I mean, it was hard for Jesus, and that's his job to be known by everybody, and it was hard for him. So imagine a human being who's nowhere near as perfect as him, has nowhere near the power that he has, being famous in a world of people who are sick and mentally deranged. It's hard. And nobody, I've been understand. I saw a video that confirmed it earlier. I was like, we're not meant to be famous. We're not meant to know millions or thousands of people. I think there was like, we're only supposed to know up to like 100 maybe, or she said 30. Like, we're no more than 100 people. We're not supposed to know that many people. You know, especially online, like we have a lot of access to a lot of things, and it damages the way the brain, and it fries the brain and all of that. Hopefully I can link all of these references down below. But yeah, so I've been getting into neuroscience, and I am obsessed because I've always wanted to get into science, but I didn't want to force a science on myself. I wanted one that genuinely resonated with me. I wanted one that I genuinely had a passion for in my heart, one that I could sit down and it's not just I'm just learning just cause, so I just can say I know science. I don't want it to be performative. I don't want it to be just so I can fit in. But I learned about neuroscience, and this is the one for me. I loved it. Now, obviously, to go to school and to be able to study this, I'm going to have to take some other type of science. And I'm probably going to do biology because they said that's the easiest because it has less math. And I really don't like math. Me and math be beefing. And that's cool. So, yeah. I'm in school right now. to get my high school diploma because I was in special education when I was younger, which also caused me to have low self-esteem and make me feel like I was dumb. But I've also had a very high confidence, and that confidence has saved me from my low self-esteem and my awareness of the fact that I'm human and the fact that the system is rigged, especially towards black children. And I knew that I was smart. I'm like, there's no way I'm dumb. I can't be. And I'm glad I stuck around and I stayed true to myself, and I was real and I was aware, and I did self work, because I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today. And this is also thanks to God for being there for me even when I didn't even realize it. But yeah, so sorry y'all, I got distracted. I was reading this, my handwriting anyways. So yeah, basically just having a passion for God. Oh my gosh, having a passion for God, that too. But the things that he puts on your heart that you have a passion for, that again, like I said, will please him. Things that you know is not something that he will look down on. Things that are authentic, things that are pure, things that are, not stemming from trauma. And even some things might stem from trauma, doesn't make it bad. I feel like my need, my passion, again, like I said, I've been bullied and mistreated. I grew up in a toxic family. I didn't have the best home life all the time, and this is no shade to my family because I love them and we've grown, but growing up wasn't the easiest. And because of that, I gained a love for social science and understanding humans, so I can not even only understand myself better, but other people, so I can extend grace. Because if I don't, I might be the type of person to continue to be petty and mistreat people, but I want to understand people. But also because if I argue with people, I'm an arguer. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I like to argue. I don't say I like to argue. I don't like to argue. I really don't, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. I used to like to argue, but I was like, I'm always right. I don't know everything, but a lot of times when I would argue with people, I would be right. But I wouldn't always have the facts to back it up, but I knew I was right, and I said, I gotta do my research so I can have the physical evidence to back it up. So social science has helped me be able to back up when I'm arguing with people. And I don't just be arguing just to argue. I'm genuinely trying to, also I be trying to educate these people. Half the time the argument starts because I tried to educate somebody in a nice way and then they got offended. And then I'm like, well, I'm right, because now I gotta get cocky. But God's working on me. And not arguing and dealing with people who are clearly just blissfully ignorant and don't even want to change. But even if I do ever run into those people, when I do run into those type of people in situations or whatever, I have physical evidence. I have scientific proof. I have proof to back it up. Because I also just want to spread the knowledge. I want to spread knowledge. Same way we spread the gospel. The gospel can be hidden in anything. The gospel can be hidden again in science. Albert Einstein even said that he started to believe in God even more the more he studied science. And I'm pretty sure it's like that for a lot of scientists. Even though we already know apparently there's a whole controversy on scientists who don't believe in God. But it's like Albert Einstein, and I'm pretty sure other people have said. And even as I, who already believed in God my whole life, even as I've started studying sciences, I've realized like how real God is and how intentional he is. I was studying the obviously with neuroscience. Neuroscience is basically the study of the nervous system, and like God explains emotions and all these things that we go through in the Bible. He created us. And if he created us, that means he created the system that operates how we move and go about life in our body. And he created a very detailed brain for us, nervous system that helps us with everything. Basically everything we do is from him, but he made things like this. He didn't just say, hey, here's me and this is all y'all got, and there's nothing inside of us and we're just slowly moving off the power of him. He created a whole system so that we can study, and that's why we have scientists, for real. Now, some scientists may have strayed away from him, but there were some who began to believe in him even more because of studying science. Like I said, Albert Einstein, which is basically my only person I got right now, but he created things like the frontal lobe, which is for problem solving, planning, and personality and movement. He created the temporal lobe, which is for hearing, memory, and language understanding. The parietal lobe, which is for touch, sensation, spatial awareness, reading, and math. I can't pronounce this one. The occipital lobe, which is for vision, color recognition, and visual interpretation. And I learned all of this stuff. Like how the cerebral cortex is basically like the outer layer of the cerebrum, and it is basically for like higher functioning, like higher functioning, like thoughts, memory, language, conscious movement, our emotions, like the amygdala that helps us with emotions, emotional regulation, fear, like all of this stuff is in our brain, but he made it like that. And I think like that can just give you a better insight on him and how intentional he is. And it also, oh my gosh, y'all, I never finished when I was talking about Kelsey Russell. Basically, she started reading the newspaper, and it made her feel smarter, and not just so she can fit in. It wasn't forced. Nobody made her. She started reading the newspaper, and it gave her emotional regulation. Educating yourself can give you emotional regulation because learning boosts your self-esteem. Achieving things like learning new things and things that you worked for and studied for, and you're attaining this knowledge and you're learning new things in your brain. Also, that's the other thing. Your brain, I'm pretty sure I've learned years ago, like your brain gets more wrinkly the more that you learn. Like, you're meant to learn. So when people make you feel bad for trying to educate yourself and for not knowing things, one, if it's true that your brain gets more wrinkles and obviously you get smarter when you learn things, why would it be a bad thing for you not to know something? How are we supposed to learn if we already know it all? There's no point of learning. So yeah, I basically found a passion for teaching and learning. I'm gonna say learning, then teaching. So I've been educating myself so that I can go out into the world and help people. Now, I'm not even saying that I can go out into the world and help people learn neuroscience and teach neuroscience, but if I study neuroscience and I study all these social sciences, I'll be able, when I do become a teacher for whatever reason, I also want to be able to help people mentally. I've always wanted to be a therapist, but I've also wanted to be a teacher, and one day maybe I will be a therapist, but I also don't like sitting down and doing too much, which is why I'm like teaching, maybe even just being a school counselor. Teaching, I want to be able to help children and people, like adults, but specifically children at first, because children really do be having it hard out here. And then outside of that, I can also help adults, but I want to be able to help the babies, and I have to get close access to them. So teaching, I want to be able to be that person in the morning if a kid's already having a bad day for whatever reason, maybe like a toxic parent or family issues and just sad things that might not even be in their parents' control. Whatever it is, I want to be that person to be there and make their day better. Like, hey, you might have got out the car, you maybe came from home in a bad mood, but I want to show you that you don't have to be sad. I want to. When I was in elementary school, we did Popsy Cola every morning to get our brains moving and excited, and it really worked. So I want to do things like that. So in the morning, me and my class, well, at the beginning of every class, actually, we're gonna do a little dance party and get our movement out. Also, because the kids they're gonna be sitting down for a while, so we're gonna do some dancing for the first 10 to 15 minutes of class. I'm like, who's hungry? I'm gonna pass out snacks, but I also want to be able to understand my students, and you can understand people. God makes teachers in different ways. Not every teacher studied social science, not every teacher studied neuroscience, not every teacher studied humans like that, but So that's why some of them might not be able to help, because some teachers, and I'm not saying this isn't even to bash certain teachers, but I've also dealt with bad teachers. I was abused in preschool. So I don't want to be that teacher, and I also don't want to be that person in general who is unhealed, who has not processed my trauma, who has no self-awareness, and I'm just this horrible person and I'm a burden to people. I don't want to be that. So I know that if I study these sciences, when I become a teacher, when the time comes, when I become a mother and a wife, when the times come, I will be able to help people. I will be able to understand them from a deeper perspective. And that's what I want. I want people to be comfortable with me. And I also want people to know the goodness of God. So I don't even want to do this just for me. And to make, have people come to me. Because I'm always going to lead them to God. But I also want to be somebody down here on earth that can help people. I can't heal anybody, but I can make people feel seen. I can help people feel heard and valued. And that's something that I've always wanted to do. And with God putting this passion on my heart to learn and teach and build community in the ways that I'm going to, in the ways that I want to, because of Him, I'll be able to do that because He's helping me find new things. Again, like I never thought I would really be into science. I thought I was only into history. But I'm realizing I'm more into science than I am history. But science kind of has to do with history because a lot of the studies are from the earlier times. So yeah. That's all I have for now. I'm going to make another video in the morning talking about the relationship stuff. And the relationship stuff doesn't even just have to do with relationships. But I'm going to be speaking from my perspective. But it's going to be about human relationships in general. But yeah. So this is all I have for right now. Basically the point of this video is to just vent again. And also to help you understand how to hear from God. How God may be speaking to you if you're confused. You might hear a voice. Again, don't even just take my word on it. Take my word and take it back to God if you have to. But go to Him first after watching this. But I hope that this helped you out in some type of way. And I love you, but God loves you more. And I hope you guys have an amazing night, an amazing day, and an amazing week. And an amazing rest of your month. Merry Christmas.